Welcome to Allie's Attic, where you never know what kind of surprise you'll find in my attic. I'm your host, Allie, and today my surprise is the vocalist guitarist of Blue Helix, who is an independent alternative rock band based out of Washington State and Sao Paulo, and they were formed in 2008. Please welcome Sammy Chofi. Hello, Sammy.
Hey Ali, how are you?
I am good. I'm going to mess up all the words in this, like all the, I know I am, but I'm hoping I'm saying your name right.
Shafi.
Anyways,
It's just
Shafi.
pronounced Shafi.
Shafi. Okay, Sammy Shafi. So how are you?
I'm amazing. Had a good night's sleep and ready to rock your interview.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. You guys rock, period. I love your music. I'm just saying. We're going to talk about one of the songs where I think it should be. But first, Sammy, tell me your journey. I mean, you can start off with you and then when you joined the band and the band right up to now, whichever you want to do. But yeah, tell me how it all started and how you got to where you are now.
I was 18 years old when I drove up here from Florida after graduating high school and in search of a band. I wanted to come to Seattle because I figured, well, hey, if I want to find a rock band, I should probably go to the place where all the bands that I love were from. And so I got out here in 2000, and it was a struggle finding artists. It really was. The scene at that time was long gone. That
Mm-hmm.
was here in Seattle,
Mm-hmm.
and being 18, you just don't know. You just have a dream, and then you shoot for it. But I believe that everything in life happens for a reason. Sometimes things in life take a lot longer than expected.
Yeah.
Um, so what I did do is I took the opposite route, where most musicians that are starting off young, they live in a van or a crappy motel room, or on people's couches, and they're doing their music thing and struggling and having a crappy job. Well, I chose to work as a waiter,
Mm-hmm.
which I'm very good at for a long time. And by the time I was 22, I bought a house. And I figured, well, if I'm going to take this seriously, I should probably get into recording and learning how to do things myself. Because at that time, I had worked with some producers in big name studios that I spent a lot of money on, and realizing it's not about the studio or the producer. It's about the love and the energy that you actually put into something that you do.
Mm-hmm.
And so I built my own recording studio through an FHA loan on the house, and saved up my tip money for about 4 years to buy all the gear and everything I was going to need. And by this time, I was 26, so it was a lot of waiting and writing songs at that moment. Still looking for artists, couldn't find guys. It was really hard because you can't just have anyone in a band, right?
Yeah,
And
exactly.
2008 rolled around, and I've already had been here for 8 years. I was 26, but the good news is I had everything I needed to do this. I had the studio, I had all the gear, I had all the pro level stuff that bands and artists usually don't have until after they've done some kind of success, or they're in their 30s, because they have good jobs.
Yeah.
I was never much of a partier. I didn't do drugs or drink, so all my money and energy went into music. And in 2008, I met Brandon and Armand. Brandon Wolf, who's a bass player,
Mm-hmm.
and Armand, who's a guitarist. And they have, become very good friends of mine over the years as well. There have been moments. I lost Armand after only 2 years because he was going to school to become an electric engineer, and Wolf left the band in 2014. So I've gone through several members. I would say two or three drummers, a couple bass players throughout the years, but everything kind of comes back full circle in life sometime. And we just did a tour in Brazil, March, and about a year, about 6 months to a year prior to that, Wolf and Armand came back. um, they're at different points in their life where they have the energy and the time.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted a tour, and that was the biggest part. Ali was finding musicians. A lot of musicians like to talk and say, "Yes, I want to be a rock star. I want to tour. I want to do these things." When it comes down to it, they don't want to do any of it. They don't even want to put the work in to practice a couple of days a week. They just want everything easy, and that's not how this works. So anyway, and I realized with all the musicians that I had auditioned and played with over the years, it's more about the brotherhood, having guys that enjoy what you do and respect you,
Mm-hmm.
and the way you can see that on stage, that fun, that energy. After this Brazil tour, we did a tour, pretty much the 3 weeks in March, and I really realized that it's more about the guys you're playing with, and the crew, because they are what who make it fun for you. They are the ones that help you keep that energy, and I'm not saying there wasn't stresses and moments that were difficult, but in the end of the day, you look to your left, your right, behind you, and those are the guys that are keeping it together with you,
Mm-hmm.
and obviously, as being the band leader, I have to make sure that I stay positive, as much as possible, because the moment I start getting bitchy, that's when everybody else around me starts to get super bitchy and irritated. So, but back to the band members. So Marco Vica, my drummer, he is a Brazilian, actually Brazilian native. He lives in Seattle, and he joined the band about a little over a year ago. Before we entered this Brazilian competition called Sua Banda Dá Show. I know you have that in your notes there.
Yes, I do.
And basically, it was a competition with a couple thousand other bands that we had to enter. We entered based on the fact that Marco and I have residency in Brazil as well. And so you had to be Brazilian residents to enter the competition. But, our band is from Seattle, So we entered this competition in hopes that we would have a chance. And the first round of competition was basically votes. So my wife Renata and I had busted our humps, if as they say, on the internet, getting people to vote for us. And so the rule was, first round is the top 5 bands that are in the top votes advance to the judging round, and we were third in votes after being a month behind in voting because we started the competition late. We managed to pull off third thanks to our great fan base and support and friends and family.
Mm-hmm.
And then, it came down to the judges and Aliens, the video Aliens. I don't know if you've seen that
I have.
video.
Yes, I have.
Yes, that was the one that was in competition. And according to the judges, it wasn't even close. They picked us the moment they saw it. So we were very fortunate there, which spawned a whole chain of events that I didn't see coming in Brazil. It led to radio rotation for 2 months of Antisocial Butterfly. It helped spawn this tour that we just did. We're not even done in Brazil. We're going to be going back at some point here. But everything that has happened because of that competition. And, the efforts of my wife, Renata, who, without her, this whole thing wouldn't have happened in the first place because she was the one pushing it and speaking Portuguese and, doing everything that she had to do to make this all work. So, it's 2018 now, and, I have, Marco on the drums, Wolf and Armand where they belong, and, God willing, I will manage to keep this Blue Helix train moving forward, as they say. Because I will tell you right now, having a band is one of the most difficult things you can do because you're managing 3 other giant children, So,
Oh, that's the best way to put it.
So, but yeah, it's love. It's a love. It's a second love of my life, So I think that anybody out there, that's serious about doing music, make sure you pick guys that you can be around, and, stand, especially being in a tour van for a couple weeks,
Mm-hmm. Well,
Yeah.
not only did you win in Brazil, you also won the 2015 Puget Sound Battle of the Bands. And like you said, you're getting heavy rotation in Brazil and you're going back, which I'm jealous, by the way. Now, your sound is like it's kind of like melodic rock and grunge, and your voice, Sammy, oh my God, I'm in love with your voice. Like you can sing. I don't even know how to put that any other way because your voice is just amazing. It captivates you. And you can hear like when you hear like heavy metal, and they've got that crazy growly voice. It sounds like they've, eaten raw peppers forever. You've got that voice. Um,
Uh,
but then you've also got the voice where if it's a softer song, you fit in there. It's just amazing. I absolutely love your voice. I'm just telling you right now. Um, Now, because you guys have been doing this for a while, you've been doing this for a while, and I love your story, how you did it kind of backwards to a lot of the ways musicians do it. Because, like you said, they usually, start getting together and, performing, and they don't have equipment, and they're going to recording studios and spending money. You did it the smart way. And just talking to you, you sound very, very intelligent. I just wanted to say. And I think that's cool because now you can kind of relax. You know what I mean? And now you can really concentrate on the music and, like you said, the other members of the band, and you can just go forward, you know, a lot more freely than most bands, I think.
that's the idea. I appreciate your compliments, by the way. Very sweet. My goal is now to focus on the next moves. I mean, obviously we'll play shows here locally. I don't believe in doing shows every weekend or every other weekend locally where you live. I think it's nice to spread them out. And continue seeing what else is out there. I'd like to get the band on the road again. That can be challenging with everyone's jobs and such, right?
Hmm.
But I'm actually going to be focusing, as you said, the melodic songs. I'm actually writing an acoustic record right now, and I have about 9 acoustic songs that I'm going to be doing with high production value. Like the Blue Helix records, with all sorts of instruments. And I've always wanted to make this record, and I think right now is a good time for me to do that. My drummer Marco, he's going to be touring with Pamela Moore this year and working with her. And Armand and Wolf, they're going to be kind of landlocked here for the next 8 months. So I think the Brazil tour is the next Brazil tour is going to happen next year. I already know that. And but in the process of that, it's like I know I'm going to be setting up shows here. I want to try to set up some in Colorado and see if we can do some down the West Coast. However, it's a good opportunity for me to focus on this acoustic album I want to do because you know um, nothing's ever stopping me from putting the acoustic on the back and hitting the road in the Ford Fusion.
There you go. Well, and when you do those songs, and if you want to, like, how you want to come back on and talk about it, you can. Or if you want to promote the songs, just send them to me and I'll throw them up on my website and promote them. I can't wait to hear it because I'm in love with your voice. So acoustic's going to make me very happy. Now, it seems like you've got a really good handle on how this works and what to do and what not to do. So, Sammy, if you had any like advice to give a new artist or even an artist that's out there right now, what kind of advice do you think you'd give them?
Stop paying big recording studios to record you. I mean, that's just one. Those big producers that work with those big name artists, they're working with big name artists, so they give a shit. They don't care about you. And you got to find a team of people who are going to care about you and believe in what you're doing, not just take your money. And I believe in having a team, finding the right team. And so my process is like Antisocial Butterfly, this last record. I recorded all the music in my studio. I wrote the instruments here. I recorded all the drums, guitars in the studio, and then I sent it to my musical guru, mixing engineer David Caggiano in New York. And that guy, not only does he put love into everything he does, but he's a music wizard. So the difference with this record and the last record, Tale of Two Halves, I recorded both of them here in my studio. Dave did mix both of them as well, but this time I did the vocals in New York with him. And that's another key for singers. I think finding a producer that knows how to track vocals and inspire you, as well as come up with the right harmonies for you to double and sing. That's really a big thing. Trust. Finding a team that you can trust. I think that's the most important thing when it comes down to it all. And so obviously mastering engineer, finding the right mastering engineer. I go through Dave Collins' mastering in Los Angeles. I wouldn't work with anybody else. That guy is Johnny on the spot every time. And that's just the team I use. And for all the artists out there, I would say, learn how to track with whatever program you want, Pro Tools, Ableton, Logic, and get proficient at it, and learn as best as you can, so you have that tool, to record songs anytime you want. But at the end of the day, you need to surround yourself with a good team.
Yeah.
A team of people who are going to help you get to that next level, and which I believe Helix has that. I think our records, especially the last one, Antisocial Butterfly, have we could put our record against any major label record, and I think it stands the Pepsi challenge. So.
Oh, it totally does. It totally does.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it blew me away. Okay, so let's talk about the songs. What two songs are we going to hear from you?
We're going to do Antisocial Butterfly, track 1 off the new album, title track, and track 2, which is Enemy.
Now, when I listen to Antisocial Butterfly, I'm such a geek. I love playing Guitar Hero. I absolutely adore. I love it because I can't play. I don't sing. I don't play instruments. I don't do any of that. But I am a music buff. So being able to do that makes me feel kind of like, hey, I can kind of do this, but I can't. But anyways, when I listened to Antisocial Butterfly, it just reminded me of Guitar Hero. It would be such a perfect song for that game because I think they're still making it, aren't they? I don't even know.
I don't know. The question, and that's the bigger thing. You want to know the trick to success in the music industry is contacts. Make all the contacts you can. Because if I had the right contacts, that song would be on Guitar Hero right now.
Yeah, because it would fit. It would just
the new intro to the Avengers movie trailer. You know what I mean? So the song's good enough for it, but I don't know the people. So
well, hopefully this helps somewhat. Because it would be crazy to listen to one of your songs on a soundtrack. But yeah, Guitar Hero. If you can find out how to get your song on there, because I would love to be able to play it, because I can't play an instrument, so that's the closest I could come. But yeah, it just reminded me of a lot of the songs that are on there, because the further you get in the game, the more complicated they get. And yeah, Antisocial Butterfly is just, I love the song and I think it would fit. But anyway, enough of Guitar Hero. I want to say thank you so much for rescheduling, because we'd had to reschedule, and for coming on my show. And anytime you want, Sammy, you can come back on. I'm looking forward to the acoustic album or EP. I love your voice. So if you ever want to come back on and talk about that, you're more than welcome, or you can send me the songs. You can purchase Blue Helix music online, as well as their website, which is helixmusic.com, and that'll be up on my website. You can just click on the link and go and find out more about the guys, listen to more of their music. Make sure you watch the Aliens video. It's actually really, 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 really good. And check out their songs, because yeah, they're amazing.
iTunes and Spotify, and it's everywhere. The record. If you go on Spotify, download it, or iTunes, and I always see it. It always comes in my email. Someone paid and downloaded your record. Yay! Celebration! So yeah, go do that.
Yes, go do that. That is the purpose of having Sammy come on here today, is to get people to go and purchase their music. So please, please do that. Support the independent music artists that are out there, because they give you such a wonderful variety of music, and it's amazing. So anyways, I'm going to keep gushing about you and your voice. And so thank you once again for coming on, and don't be a stranger.
I will. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And thank you for joining me on Allie's Attic. Keep checking my website, because you never know what kind of surprises you'll find in my attic. Cheers.